So the Jazz just got a really great win over a really great team in the Milwaukee Bucks. The Jazz had, I think, 39 assists or something like that. Um, really great. When the Jazz get that many assists, they usually win the game. I'm not going to complain a bit about that, especially with the 2-6 slide that they had over the last 8 games. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna talk down about the Jazz tonight. They went on like it was like a 32-9 run. Really, really great stuff in the third and fourth quarter. Um, I'm very very happy with the outcome tonight. And please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be happy about tonight's win. And I hate being the one to kind of diminish the Jazz's success. I hate being the one to, kind of put a damper on the mood, so to speak. But let's be honest. I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks are on the tail end of a back to back after just playing the Dallas Mavericks last night. That's pretty close to sea level. They go to Utah in elevation. Again, tail end of a back to back. I don't think they got to Utah until they didn't get to Salt Lake City until 2 a.m. So really, really late. They didn't have really any time to adjust to the elevation. And anybody from Utah who skis or snowboards will know when you go up to the mountains, just walking up a flight of stairs, it's just exhausting. You walk up a flight of stairs in the mountains, especially carrying a snowboard or skis, you're winded. You are exhausted because that change in elevation, it does give you a huge, it gives you a huge advantage. Anyone who says it doesn't know about elevation. Don't know about altitude and the altitude adjustment that has to be made, that your body has to make. Obviously after a couple of hours snowboarding in the mountains, I'm fine, right? My body adjusts to it. But until then, it is really, really, really difficult to even just walk up a flight of stairs. And the Bucks were without Middleton, Chris Middleton, their third leading scorer, who, if I truly believe if that Middleton was healthy tonight and was playing tonight, Jazz probably don't win this game tonight. And that's after the Bucks played a game last night against the Dallas Mavericks. I believe it was the Dallas Mavericks. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was the Dallas Mavericks. And then coming to Utah at 2 a.m., again, huge increase in elevation and probably lose tonight. Again, I hate being the one that kind of rains on the parade here, but I feel like I gotta call a spade here. It looked to me, it honestly looked like the Bucks just ran out of gas in the third and fourth quarter. And again, I will always take a win. It was a hard fought win. The Jazz were down by 19. They went on a 32-9 run. It was great. It really was. But let's pull back a little bit here and realize that there's a reason why the Bucks just kind of let go of the reins tonight. And again, I'm not trying to, diminish what the Jazz did tonight. What they did was great. But in the grand scheme of things, right? If you keep in mind the entire picture of tonight's game from both sides, the Utah Jazz side, and just because the Jazz had rest doesn't mean that they necessarily get an advantage, because sometimes you play a little more sloppy when you have rest and you don't have those reps in and you don't have that rhythm. But we got to keep in mind the Bucks side of things, which is they just played last night, came into Utah in elevation with no rest whatsoever, got here at like 2 a.m. without Chris Middleton, and we're up by 19 on the Jazz. I I will take a win. I will take a win. I'm happy with that. But I think we got to keep in mind both sides, the Jazz and the Bucks, right? The Jazz, they had a rest advantage. They did. But sometimes the rest advantage is not always a rest advantage. You kind of get sloppy during those times where you have time off. And the Bucks had a huge disadvantage coming into elevation and on very little sleep getting here at 2 a.m. Their bodies probably didn't adjust very much, if at all. And you could clearly see that they were running out of gas, and a lot of their shots would front rim, like their threes would just hit the front rim or would be hitting the back iron. And that's because they had to put more strength and power into their shot just to have a chance to make it. I mean, I'm not going to look at this win and say that the Jazz are back. That they are back to that 14-5 win team. But this could be a turning point for the Jazz. So I'll leave it with that, right? This could be the turning point the Jazz need, the game that brings their confidence back. And if that's the case, then yeah, I'll be happy for that. You know, if this is the game that they needed to get their confidence back, great. But I do think we need to keep in mind what the Bucks were dealing with tonight, and the fact that that's what they were dealing with makes it all the more impressive. The fact that they were up by 19 at one point, because they were dealing with a lot and missing Chris Middleton. We cannot just dismiss that. They were missing Chris Middleton. So take this win with a grain of salt. I mean, yes, the Jazz beat the Bucks twice, 2 out of 2 times, which is great. But again, the first win came without Damian Lillard. This win came without Chris Middleton and being on a tail end of a back-to-back. So the Bucks are obviously championship contending, and the Jazz are, in my opinion, while they looked like they could be contenders during that window of being, what was it, 14-5 over their last 19 games, their last 8, well, now 9 games, they are now 3-6. They kind of reverted back to the team they were before. So I can't say that the Jazz are truly contenders yet. But again, if this is the game that gives them their confidence back, then I'm all for it. So anyways, I think that's going to do it for this one. If you guys like the content, found it useful or entertaining, please hit the like button, subscribe, and comment down below. It really helps me out. If you didn't like it, please let me know you didn't like and how it can be improved. I love constructive criticism. I welcome constructive criticism. And no matter what happens, win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, and thankfully it was really good tonight. Well, not really good. It was ended good, but it was not really good all night long. But I'll take it. I don't care. We'll react to it here on React to NBA. Thanks for watching.